Hey kids, it's Mr. Fly here, hope you're well, out and about, and on another bike review today. Today, I'm on the brand new for 2020 BMW F900R. It's a cheeky little roadster bike, competing with things like the MT-09, the Kawasaki Z900, and well, it's a cute looking little thing. Just jumped on it. This is going to be my first impressions review, so if you're interested in this machine, stick around and stay tuned. Okay, so the F900R then, a bike that was announced in late 2019, so it's a 2020 model. It was announced around about the same time as the F900 XR, which I was lucky enough to ride a few days ago, so that's still fresh in the mind, so it's going to be easy to compare that bike with this. Lots of similarities between the two bikes actually. This has got the same engine, albeit it sounds slightly different on this, but other than that, I have to say, this feels completely different. The XR is very much an upright touring type bike. This one feels a lot more aggressive. You're canted forward on the seat. Feels a lot more Street Fighter-ish. It feels much more like something like, say, my Street Triple. So in terms of the seating position, as I say, canted forward. Knees are at quite an acute angle. The foot pegs feel quite high in comparison to the XR. They're quite a sporty feel. But it's not unpleasant at all. It just feels like you're, you know, ready to go all the time. Which is the sort of bike that it is, so that's fine. Well, the handling through here is lovely. Now, I thought the XR had really light and flickable handling, but already, just by going around that roundabout and a few bends, I can tell this handle's even nicer. I've come through the middle of Maidenhead here, hoping there might be a bit of traffic and I could just see what it was like to do a bit of filtering and stuff, but not a single car down that little bit of dual carriageway. Wouldn't you believe it? Anyway, there you go. Sounds really nice, the engine on here. And while we're talking about the engine, let me just address a potential elephant in the room. I had some comments when I did the XR review. I'll put a link, by the way, in the corner so you can look at that when you want to, if you haven't seen it already. I had some comments, people were saying, oh, isn't that engine built in China? Well, yes, it is built in China, but of course it's built under BMW's regulations and their quality control. So personally, I don't have a problem with that. As long as the quality is there, if BMW are willing to stamp their name on it and give it a 3-year warranty, which they are, then that's good enough for me. So, you know, these days everything's built all around the world, isn't it? Triumph build their bikes in Thailand, even Harley Davidson do. So the fact that you get some engines from China, in itself, I don't think necessarily need be a problem. But anyway, that's just my view. I know not everybody agrees to that. Anyway, back to this specific bike. So this model I'm riding is the basic machine, so it hasn't got all the bells and whistles that you can get on BMW. So it's got the basic suspension, non-electronic. It doesn't, as I say, have all the extras like the extra riding mode Pro that you can get on this bike. The only extra this has got is heated grips, I'm glad to say, because it's 5 degrees out here today. I'm recording this on a Friday in February and it ain't warm. So those heated grips are really nice. I think they should come as standard on every UK spec bike, but again, that's just me. But what a beautiful day to be out on a bike, eh? Been so lucky this winter so far, touch wood, he says, touching his head. We've not had any heavy snow or anything like that in this part of the world, and it's just beautiful. Look at this down by the river here in Maidenhead. Absolutely lovely spot. And a joy to be out on the bike. And I have to report these heated grips work a treat. I've also got my heated gloves on as well, so I am toasty on here. Really chuffed to see that BMW have put, as far as I'm concerned, their class-leading TFT on here. Now glanced down, I can see I'm in rain mode, so let's just change that over. Very easy to go to the other modes in this. There we go, road mode. Bring the clutch in, off the revs, and then you're back into road mode. So 2 riding modes only on this, the basic bike. So yeah, BMW have included their brilliant TFT. I'm always raving about that. I'm not a massive fan of TFTs per se, but if you're going to have one, I don't think they're any better than the BMW one. It's just so clear, easy to read, just makes a lot of sense to me. I like it. And for just lazily riding along here on this road, this bike is an absolute joy, I have to say. The seat doesn't feel too bad. My criticism of the XR was it had a very hard seat. This one, oddly, to me, feels a bit softer. I don't know why, but it's not as noticeably hard as the XR was. Feels quite wide actually, the bike, between your legs. I mean, it's a twin-cylinder bike, so you wouldn't necessarily expect that, but it feels quite a big bike when you're on it, whereas it actually looks quite small off it. You jump on it, it feels quite sizable, so it's a bit of a mystery, that. Mirrors on here work absolutely beautifully. These are the standard BMW mirrors, the same as on the XR version, and I've got the same mirrors on my GS in fact. I dare say they're made in China, but they actually work very well indeed. No vibration, great view from behind. In terms of any sort of wind or weather protection, it is a naked bike. You've got no screen at all on here, so you are of course in the air blast. You don't expect to get protection from the weather if you're going to buy a naked bike, and this is no different. But it has got quite a big frontal area, so your legs are nicely protected. Right, there's nothing behind me. I'm just going to try the brakes. Wow, the brakes on here are amazing, and I notice it's got Brembo branded calipers on the front of this, which is surprising because I'm not quite sure what's going on with BMW, but for example on the brand new 1250 GS and GSA, they no longer have the Brembo calipers, so the fact that they're getting them on these bikes that are more at the budget end. This particular machine comes in, according to the website, at under £9,000, so this is a value for money BMW. It's a great entry point into the BMW range, although of course you can get the G310, which is even cheaper, but this is excellent if you want a bigger bike. As I say, I think it's 865cc the engine on this, and you can get an A2 license friendly version as well. I'll talk you through the specs shortly when I do the walk around in the usual way and give you all the figures and show you what the bike looks like in detail. But yeah, first impression of the ride, really nice. The suspension seems nice on here. It's obviously everything is set exactly as it came out of the factory on here. Let me just have a little flick through the menu items. Here we are. It's done 29 miles this bike, so it's absolutely brand new. The tyres on it have still got the lines and stuff. They're not scrubbed in. The brakes aren't properly scrubbed in. I'll just try the rear. Now the rear barely does anything at the moment, but I guess that is just because, again, the bike is brand new. But having said that, the fronts are brilliant. Nice to see that both levers on here have got adjusters as well for span. If you've got particularly big or small hands, you can adjust that. The clutch is lovely and light on here. I'm just going to drop her down a cog or two and just see what she sounds like. Right, and then slow down as I come into the 30. Yeah, it sounds lovely. It's got quite a nice little exhaust on here. Again, I'll show you when we do the walk around in a second. But a lovely note to this twin cylinder engine, and it accelerates really nicely. Feels perky. Feet on the deck, look, I'm 5'8" and I'm on the balls of my feet. This again I assume has a standard seat height, which I think is 770mm on this, but eminently adjustable. BMW have listened to customer feedback, and you can get all sorts of layering kits and various options to give it a lot of adjustability on the seat. Oh well, they're stuck behind a dust cart. That wasn't quite in the plan. This is Cookham, by the way. Beautiful little town. If you're ever in the area, some nice restaurants and things around here. I'm a big fan of the Chinese, actually, just there. Been there a number of times. Right, let's try not to get in anyone's way, but let's do the walk around maybe up here. I've done a few of these before up here. It's a nice sunny spot. Lovely and easy to find neutral, and the stand is nice and easy to find as well. Alright, there's a chap just about to walk past. I'll let him go first because I'm going to feel a right numpty chatting to you, so we'll just let him wander by. And there he goes. Alrighty, so here we are, the BMW F900 R, brand new for 2020. This one in a particularly fetching blue colour. I think it looks lovely. Let me get the other camera out anyway and the details, and I'll talk you through the spec in the usual way. Okay, here we go then, the F900 R, and must just say thanks to the guys at Bahnstormer in Maidenhead once again for lending me the bike for this this review. I think she looks lovely in this colour. Unfortunately, I'm right in the sun, so you're going to see my shadow all over this as I walk you around. But there we go, never mind. But cute looking little bike. Just before I get into the spec, let me show you just some of the things I like about it. This front light looks really cool, I think, on it. I like these big wide haunches that I've talked about. This is the exhaust. It sounds really cool. It's a Euro 5 friendly one, but it does the business in terms of sound. Really nice looking machine. Oh, and there's the preload adjuster on the rear suspension there as well, so you can adjust that, which is handy. Alright, let's go through the spec then. The engine on this, as I've already said, the twin cylinder in fact it's 895cc, not 865 as I said earlier, and yeah, sounds really good and it goes really well. 105 horsepower at 8,500 rpm. Torque on this 92 newton meters at 6,500 rpm. The brakes on here, the front dual discs, and there's those Brembo calipers I mentioned, 4-pot calipers on here, and those are 320mm discs, and on the back it's got a single 265mm. As you can see, not scrubbed in yet. You can see the ABS ring there, and that's a Brembo single pot caliper on there. Suspension wise, front 43mm diameter forks, black on this bike, nice and beefy looking. And there's no adjustment on those, just normal upside down telescopic forks. On the rear, as I say, adjustable for preload and rebound, and it's just got the central spring on this one. But again, if you want the more fancier bike, I think you can get the bike with ESA as well. The seat height on here, 770mm as standard, but it goes up to 865, so massive range of adjustment, as I said, which is a great thing. The weight of the bike, 211 kilograms fully fueled, so I like the way that BMW are giving fully fueled weights now, which makes a lot more sense to me. And the tank capacity, 13 litres usable volume, which doesn't sound like a lot, does it? So relatively small tank, but probably quite a frugal engine. I don't know yet what sort of miles per gallon you'll get out of this, but I imagine you're looking at 200 miles out of the tank. Electronics wise, I mentioned the TFT screen already, that's got connectivity, LED lighting on here, dynamic brake light, it's got a 12-volt socket. The headlight that I mentioned is quite clever actually. It's one of these ones that knows when you lean over and it lights up at the sides, I think. I'm not sure if this standard bike has that, but certainly that's available. And the price of this, according to the website, the standard bike, 8,660 with a 3-year warranty, which seems to be an excellent price for this little bike, I have to say. Two variants of it available, the basic one, which this is, and the SE. The SE comes with the dynamic ESA, which is the electronic suspension, extra riding modes, gear shift assist pro, headlight pro, and other bits and pieces, stuff that you may want. Colour wise, it comes in this colour, the dark blue, a black or silver, and there's an A2 licence friendly version available as well. So there we have it, that's the spec of the bike, and yeah, I think in this blue it looks particularly splendid. Alrighty, that's it for the walk around. Let's jump on, ride some more, find some other roads. Okay, well I seem to have got away with a walk around with people wandering past me, chatting on their phones and stuff without feeling too much an idiot. Right, let's fire this puppy up again then. I love the start-up graphics on these TFTs, on the Beamers. Looks really good. Alrighty, stands up, we're in neutral. Love the way these numbers get bigger as you rev it. Cool. Right. I'm slightly in uncharted territory around here. I have been around here before, as I mentioned on some of my reviews, but it's been a while. I can't quite remember what's around, so hopefully I'm going to find some slightly twisty roads up here so I can just explore this handling a bit. Is this white van going to let me go? No, he's not. Not even looking. None of them are. Thank you. Good man. Except now I'm behind a white van. This twin-cylinder engine really does sound great on here. It's one of those rare bikes where you have, particularly in these days of Euro 5, where the exhaust you probably wouldn't want to change. It's not so loud it's annoying. At the same time, it's not all muted. You can hear it and you can have fun with it. Actually, let me turn right around this roundabout because I don't want to be stuck behind that van. There's also a chance to see what she's like on a tight turn. Quite a nice turning circle on here. What a beautiful day. Sort of be a little bit careful on the bike because, as I mentioned, the tyres aren't scrubbed in yet, and I definitely don't want to bin a brand new bike for the boys at Bahnstormer. That would be bad. What I need to do is search out for some more twisty roads and maybe some faster roads as well, just to see what she's like, and maybe something in town. So bear with me, stick around and stay tuned. Let me find some different sort of riding to do on the bike. Rather splendid spot. Right, this looks like a slightly better road. It's So when I rode the F900 XR, which as I say has a lot of similarities with this bike, my two complaints were its very hard seat and the little short windscreen that I thought were a bit rubbish. Well, this doesn't have a windscreen at all, so that's immediately gone away. And this seat, although I'm sure it's probably the same seat, to me just doesn't feel as hard. So the two complaints I had about that bike have gone. And as a result, you know, I think I prefer this bike. And normally I'm the sort that goes for the upright, comfy type of bike, as opposed to the more hairy, leery speedster type machine. But this is just a lovely bike. I mean, it's flickable, it feels lovely and light. It reminds me of my Street Triple in terms of its riding position. When I get onto a national speed limit road, I can just properly see what she feels like when you accelerate away. Just see how it compares to the likes of this Street Triple rather, which this sort of competes with. The other bikes, I guess, in this sector, this is competing with, of course, is aimed at the Yamaha MT-09. I definitely prefer this to the MT-09, I have to say. And things like the Kawasaki Z900, which I've not yet had the pleasure to ride. One day I hope to have a crack on that though, because I hear good things about that bike, and it'll be very interesting to compare this with that. Completely non-intimidating this would be an excellent first big bike if you've passed your test and maybe done 6 months on a 600 or something and you want to move on up. Or indeed, if you an A2 licence holder and you're restricted to lesser horsepower bikes, you can get this in a variant that's within the 48 horsepower range that you're allowed to ride. And it would be a great bike to learn your craft on, because I say, non-intimidating, easy to ride. Thank you very much, Mr. Van Driver. Thank you. The throttle is lovely here through this bit of traffic. There's no, come on, there's no jerkiness at all. I'm in first gear, look, 12 miles an hour. The fueling is absolutely perfect. Sometimes on these big twins they can be a bit thumpy. You know, try doing this on a multistrada or pretty much any Ducati twin, it'd be like you're riding a pneumatic drill. But lovely and smooth here, no discernible vibes whatsoever out of this engine. Seems to be a nice little unit. So yeah, in traffic, handles really, really nice. So if you had to ride to work every day, you could certainly do that on here, no problem at all. Just desperately trying to think of things I don't like about the bike. Whether the seating position might be a bit extreme for people, because you do feel quite tucked up. The pegs are quite a lot higher than on the XR. It feels more like you're riding a sports bike, but there's no weight on the wrist, so it's not sports bike uncomfortable. But I think if you're a bigger person, I'm 5'8", relatively small chap. I think if you're a bigger person, you might find the bike a little bit cramped. For me, it's perfect, I have to say. What a lovely little town stroke village. I think this is Bourne End. For sport in South Buckinghamshire, there's some really lovely spots. Right, anyway, I'm on my way to try and find the A404, which is a bit of fast dual carriageway, so I can wind this up and just see if there's any turbulent air when you're going at motorway speed. So speak to you when we get there. Okay, so here I am just joining the 404 behind a white van. I thought they were a little bit absent. And here we are in top gear doing normal motorway cruising speeds. And very, very nice, I have to say. I am, yes, of course, I'm in the wind blast, but it's completely clean airflow that I'm in. It's not turbulent, I'm not being buffeted around. I'm wearing a normal sports type helmet today, my Shoei. I haven't got a peak or anything like that on it, but it's a nice smooth airflow. You could ride like this all day if you're going to go touring and you had to cover some miles on motorways. You don't need to worry about doing that on this bike. Very well behaved, and feels like there's lots more in the engine to give as well. Yeah, she still wants to go, so there's plenty left in the engine for overtakes, as there should be. I mean, you know, a 900cc bike, it ain't a small engine, is it? Lovely and torquey motor as well. There's power seemingly everywhere with it. Like that very much. Roads are looking a little bit slippery around here. Still a little bit nervous on these unscrubbed in tyres, but lovely bike. So I hate doing these reviews where I can't think of anything bad to say about the machine, because people say, oh, you just say nice things about the bike because you want to be able to borrow future bikes. And that is not the case with this motorcycle, I have to say. And by the way, I'm always turning down bikes to review. I've got more bikes around than I can possibly review, so I'm not worried about that. But I really can't find anything significantly bad or negative about this bike to say. Everything about it just works. The brakes are really nice, the suspension seems set up just fine, mirrors are good. The seat, yeah, maybe it's a little bit hard, but it's not that bad. Goes well, it's light, it's non-intimidating, it's flickable. And you know, if I was in the market for a bike like this, I'd be tempted to go for this basic model because it's less than £9 grand. It's got 2 riding modes, rain and road. That's all you need. I don't think I personally need the electronic suspension. This feels fine. I would definitely add the heated grips as an option. That's a must-have. But other than that, I'd stick with the basic bike. It's just a great fun machine. I really like it. So I think BMW onto a cracker again. I guess it's just down to whether you like the looks of it or not. I personally do, but that's entirely a matter of personal taste. Out of the two bikes, the F900 XR and this the R, I prefer this, the R. Which is a surprise to me, because I thought that wouldn't be the case. Anyway, there we have it. That's my first impressions review of the F900 R. There really are some great bikes around you can buy at the moment. If you're in the market for a new bike, do give this one a look. I think you're going to like it. Must say thanks to the guys at Bahnstormer once again for letting me borrow the bike, and thank you to you for watching. If this is the first time you've been to my channel, I don't just do bike reviews here on the Essendon Flyer. I do all sorts of stuff to do with looking after your bike in the garage. I do trips and tours at home and abroad. I do the odd live stream. I do a monthly bike news. Basically anything and everything I try and cover here on the Essendon Flyer. If you've not done so already, hit that subscribe button down below. It'd be really good to have you along. And whilst I'm doing thank yous, I must just say a huge thank you to those people that have joined my YouTube channel in recent weeks as well, and to my patrons. Without you guys, I couldn't keep doing the Essendon Flyer. If you're so inclined to join the channel or join as a Patreon, it's only $1 a month, and it keeps me head above water. So thank you very much indeed to you guys for doing that. And as ever, I look forward to speaking to you again soon. Until then, this has been the Essendon Flyer. Cheerio. Alright, let's see. Woo! She goes! She goes! Oh, white van. Just when I was beginning to think my white van days were over. Today's van of choice, a Sprinter.